My screen just lost Patty and Dan. Do other people have that?
They're there. I think when they started recording, Sarah, I think there's a new feature in Teams
There's
where
Dan.
Yeah.
There is, Brian. Yes. So they updated, the state of Vermont updated their policy. And so you have to go off mute and then it will allow you to speak and share and all of the things that are necessary. It's your way of accepting that it's recording. My apologies.
Thank you.
So Jenny, did anybody hear my introduction?
Nobody heard you, Patty. I'm sorry. And you're off camera if I don't know if you want to be.
There we go.
There we go.
Sorry about that. Thank you for that heads up because I had started the meeting. I'm like, what? It's very quiet. Like, what happened? All right, let me redo that. Okay, my name is Patty Richards, and I'm calling to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Vermont Community Broadband Board. It is June 15th, 2026 at 11:32. We have 4 board members present: Dan, Sarah, Brian, and myself. We expect Laura Sibilia, who should be joining at some point in the near future. So that's our roll call. Christine, can you do a staff roll call? And Christine, if you are speaking, you're probably muted. Christine, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know what I just it was said to be it unmuted, it muted itself for some reason. But anyway, I'll start again. I got Jose.
So, Christine, before you go, Jenny, can you repeat what just happened so that we're all aware? And I see Laura Sibilia has joined. Hi, Laura. But Jenny, can you repeat what goes on?
Yep. So the state of Vermont updated their policy with Microsoft. And so what everybody needs to do to accept that the meeting is being recorded is to go off mute and then back on mute. And that's your way of saying that, yes, you are approving that the meeting is being recorded and that you are able to participate after you do that.
I think you have to turn your camera back on too.
I agree.
It's possible. This is our first meeting doing this, and my apologies. I should have informed everybody.
No worries. You didn't know the details of what was going to happen, so this is a good beta test run. Okay, Christine, it looks like you are now off mute. Camera's not on, but you are off mute. So if you want to do roll call of staff, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
There you go. Now we see you.
Yep. Jose Aguayo, Ginny Raboyne, JB Ledoux, Alexi Montserrat, Christina Sweet, Lucy Fortier, Brittany Watson, Heron Herzog, Tony Clothero, and we also have Gwen Zakov here representing us in the legislature.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item for us to take action on is to approve the agenda. I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Patty.
Thank you, Sarah. Any discussion or changes to the agenda?
None here from staff.
Okay. Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor of the agenda, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, Dan's abstained, so that is 4 in support of the agenda, 0 opposing and 1 abstention. All right, let's next move to meeting minutes of May 18th, 2026. I'm going to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as provided in our packets. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Sarah. Any discussion or changes? I'll just make one note under item 1 for roll call. It'd be great if we can just list any board members that are not in attendance for the meeting. It just helps to clarify who's here and who is able to vote on the minutes. And Dan Nelson was not at our last meeting minutes, or at our last meeting, so he'll not be able to vote on these meeting minutes.
I wasn't there either, Patty, so,
For the last meeting of,
oh,
May
I'm
18th?
sorry.
I think you
The
were for
18th?
that one.
I was
Yeah.
for the 18th, right? It was one before that. Sorry.
You got it. No worries, no worries. Any other changes or edits? All right, all those in favor of the meeting minutes with just the note that Dan was absent, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Dan, I'll assume you're gonna abstain.
Well, this is for this agenda, so I can,
For the meeting minutes.
This is meeting minutes.
oh, you went back to meeting minutes. Sorry, I'm reading. I'm
Got it.
abstaining.
Okay, so Dan abstained from the May 18th meeting minutes as he was not in attendance and everybody else has voted in favor. If I got that wrong, let me know. All right, that moves us now onto public comment. Christine, can you run public comment?
Yep, happy to. If anybody would like to make a comment, please raise your hand, or if you're on the phone, speak up. And we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. And I see Andrew Ross has his hand up. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yep, thanks, Christine. Yeah, just a quick note. It won't need full 3 minutes. I think it may have been mentioned at the last meeting. We're waiting for our grant to be extended through September 30th. It's currently June 30th, the end date of our current grant. So working with Christine and her staff to get that done within the next 2 weeks. Otherwise, we'll be beyond June 30th. So just an update there. Might have been mentioned last time, but since we're getting toward the end of the month, wanted to just hop on and give an update.
Andrew, can you remind me which CUD you're representing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself. It's I'm the chair of Lamoille FiberNet CUD.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yep,
it.
sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, not seeing any. I think we can move on with the agenda.
Okay, all right, let's now move next to Vikuda update. And I understand Rob Vetsky is not available, but Ellie will be jumping in to do the Vikuda update.
Hi, everyone. So it's been fairly quiet in Vikuda the last month. I think we've been tracking the end of the legislative session, and I think the only thing of note there is that the data center bill that we were tracking was vetoed by the governor and did not make it through the veto session. So I think we're all aware of that one. Didn't really have a direct impact to us, but we were watching that as interested stakeholders. And the main activity we've been working on is the recoupment and transfer of assets policy. So we have been engaging with staff on that. And where we've landed, you'll see it in your packet today, is we are in consensus with the policy which is published, and the group appreciated the process of back and forth engagement. So we're good with where we've landed.
Excellent. That's great to hear.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. Very good. All right, that brings us to item 5 on the agenda, parking lot.
Yep, Ginny will take this.
I'm just trying to share my screen here. All right. Hello, everyone. So we're just going to give a little update on the parking lot. Item 173 and 170 are on today's agenda. Item 172 is an ongoing item. Staff will continue to keep the board updated as reported previously. Item 168 is ongoing, and that will be addressed in a future board meeting. Item 166 is in progress and will be reviewed in January of 2027. And finally, on this slide, item 162 continues to be ongoing, and the board will be informed as part of the weekly update. All of the items on this slide are in progress. Item 149, staff proposed a presentation to Otter Creek to participate in the July board meeting. Item 145, the hub grand opening, is Saturday, June 27th. Staff is collaborating with NEKCV to put out a press release. Item 114 is just our staff reminder to review the appointment of board members in November. And item 40 is on today's agenda. Christine, I saw your hand go up on the last slide. Do you want me to go back?
No, well, I'm just saying that we'll be addressing the CPF extension in today's meeting, but not asking for a formal approval because
Yeah.
we'll be holding off that until we get the permission from the Treasury.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
All of the items on this slide have been completed. Item 169 was completed. The language was added to the policy and the website was updated. Item 171 was completed in the weekly update on June 4th. And items 146 and 161 were completed as part of the budget presentation in May. Item 167 was completed in May as well. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. Is Tony online?
Yes, Tony's here.
So
Yes,
hi, Tony. On the parking lot, there's an outstanding item that's basically got my name tagged to it, which is the work on the annual report policy drafting and review process. And we've deferred that because staff has been loaded with other priority projects. Tony, does it look like that could come into play in the near future, the annual report policy?
Ginny did talk to me about this a couple weeks ago. Thank you for raising it, Patty. My recollection was that we had decided that we were not proceeding with that policy at all, as we determined that it was no longer necessary. But I will take that item, review it, and come back at the next meeting and let you know.
Okay, that'd be great. Let's
Okay.
check in on that. Just I thought there was something that I was supposed to do on that, and since we've changed our policy process, just let's dust that off and figure out if we have to do anything or not.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Obviously, and work that in with everything else you've got juggling at the same time.
Thank you. Will do.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions on the parking lot? All right. Seeing and hearing none, let's keep moving. Let's move to legislative update. Gwen.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Great. Awesome. So hi. So we're 2.5 weeks out from the legislature adjourning. They adjourned on the 29th of May, late in the evening. And so we had a pretty good year, I would say. That was pretty light on policy issues overall that we were tracking. But I finalized our written report for the board. I'm just waiting for the ACT numbers to go into place, which hopefully I'll have that out to you folks this week. The most of the bills we were following have been messaged to the governor. They were messaged to the governor at the end of last week on Thursday or Friday. The one bill that was mentioned earlier, which was the data center siting bill, was vetoed already. H727. I included that in the wrap up, but noted that it was vetoed, and the legislature only got it a day before they were adjourning, so there wasn't really any time for them to go back to it. But I'd say overall things went well. Like I said, all of the bills that we're tracking went to the governor at the end of last week, including the budget, which had the obviously the budget for the VCBB in there. And I covered that in the wrap up. And then S71 and H211, which were the data privacy bill and the data broker bill, both passed through the legislature and are off to the governor as well. And the last bill we were sort of tracking as well, which was the extension of the 248A processes for telecom towers and such that don't have to go through Act 250, but rather go through the 248A process. But those are the ones we were following. I'll give you the rundown and the written report that go into great detail about each section of the bill and the overall, a deeper dive into the details. And then moving forward, this summer and fall, I'll be working with staff and eventually the board looking towards the next biennium, because we have a few things that, we should look back to that were priorities from the VCBB, and priorities from past legislative sessions from legislators that may come up. So just to prepare and be ready for the 2027 and 2028 session. So happy to answer any detailed questions, but just stay tuned for my written report.
Great. Thank you very much, Gwen. Any questions of Gwen? Okay, hearing and seeing none, let's keep moving. Let's do item 7, which is capital project funds extension.
Yeah, this should be brief. We're just keeping the board updated on what we're doing, but go ahead, Christina.
Great, thank you, Christine. Yes, this is a brief update that we are preparing and submitting extension requests for only those projects that are experiencing delays and can justify the need for additional time. We'll make sure that those are all submitted well in advance of the July 31st deadline. And if Treasury grants extensions for those projects, they will be extended for 6 months through June 30, 2027.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, thank you. All right, we are blazing through. Let's keep rocketing here. Let's move next to item 8, which is indirect costs.
Okay, I will take that as well, but JB Ledoux, I believe, is also on to provide some backup support for indirect costs. The board requested some more details about what indirect costs fund. Our indirect costs are based on our federally predetermined indirect rate, which can change from year to year. It's currently 26.47% of personnel costs. So it is specifically applied to salaries and the cost of salaries and benefits, not to any of our other costs that we expend at the VCBB. And as you can see in the information we provided in the packet, indirect expenses support agency or department-wide administrative financial functions that benefit our operations at BCBB, and they partially fund personnel costs for a set of PSD positions. So those are, really part of the costs of doing business for VCBB, but not necessarily attributable to one particular project or program.
Christina, of the positions that are listed, it looks like maybe 10 or so. Do you have a general sense, a rough estimate of their total expenses to the state, how much we cover? Is it 5%?
I think
1%?
JB would be able to give some more detail on that.
Okay.
Yes, well, when I requested this information from the admin office, I didn't go that deep to see what percentage each position got. So I can have that information for you.
If you could follow up,
yeah.
If you could follow up for the next meeting. I'm just curious how much we are funding of the administrative functions. I'm just curious how much we fund.
Okay.
If it's a lot, if it's de minimis, I just like to know the number roughly.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to just really support that request. So you're asking for the percentage, and we saw the amount, right? The total amount.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. But the percentage that we're funding of each position.
You got it. So as an example, the Director of Administrative Services, I'm just going to throw out a number. We fund 2% of the overall expense of that position. I'd like to know what that percentage is.
Okay. This is relying on the fact that it's broken down like that, which it should be available. So I'll talk to Patty LaRose in the admin office for you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Any other questions? And I appreciate this follow-up of the indirect expenses so that we have a handle on what we are funding.
Yeah, Patty.
Yes, Laura.
Just hearing JB, note, that this information may or may not be available in the format that we're asking, just understanding what the challenge might be if it is not to getting it in that format. Be helpful.
Yeah, that's a good follow-up. Okay, anything else? All right, let's now move on to item 9 of our agenda, which is the Department of Corrections request. Christine, can you tee us up before we
I'll
move
tee
into
up this-
executive session?
We've had an ongoing request from the Department of Corrections for funding for their Wi-Fi system, extending their Wi-Fi in their prisons. And this stemmed from the digital equity program, which was canceled. So we will, provide additional details and information to the board in executive session around some of the conversations that have been going on in the background. So Jenny, if you could, sorry, go ahead. I'll turn this back over to you, Patty.
Great, thank you, Christine. So the request is to move into executive session as it deals with contract negotiations. Is that correct, Christine?
Yes. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we move into executive session. Laura, is it possible that you can log in under the partnership account? That way we can move you over.
I have a phone number to call in.
Okay, all right. Jenny, do you got that? Do you have that so you can move her?
As soon as you call in with that number, then I will be able to add that number and pull you over.
Okay. Just trying to prevent any delay in our process of once we get into executive session that we can start right up. All right, so Jenny, you've got that. Oh, well, hopefully that moves over quickly. All right, I'm going to make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313C15, which protects records relating specifically to the negotiations of contracts. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. Any discussion?
Sorry.
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of moving into executive session, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes carry 5-0. All right, Jenny will move us over.
ID again and then press pound. Okay, everyone should be moving over right now.
Thank you, Jenny.
Of course. Be recorded and or transcribed. The meeting.
Hi, I think I'm here.
Jose, you can stop sharing, please.
All right, and just a reminder for all the board members, I got the prompts that I had to check off my mic and my camera to come back in because we're being recorded. There we go. See Laura. She'll have to go through those clicks so that we can see you, and then you're unmuted as well. All right, there we go. There's Dan, there's Brian. We have Christine back.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. All right, we are back in public session. There was no action taken for item number 9. We were in executive session. There was no action taken in executive session, and we have nothing to report in terms of action items to pursue subsequent to the executive session. All right, let's now move to item 10 on our agenda, which is the recoupment and transfer of ownership policy. Christine, as part of the public process, I just want to do a check-in before we do any motion to move into executive session on this. The recoupment and transfer of ownership policy is in the public packet, and we had some revisions to that based on comments taken last week, or not last week, at our last meeting. I just wanted to ask the question, were there any written comments received between the last meeting and this meeting from anybody?
Yeah, we received written confirmation that that the CUDs and BCUDA agree with the policy.
Okay, excellent. All right, very good. From that standpoint forward, I'm gonna have you take it over from here.
Yeah, at this point, you have the policy. We do not need to go into executive session unless there are specific questions from the board members.
I think we can ask questions, and then if there's anything that you feel is sensitive in nature, then we can explore executive session at that point. I just want to thank the staff for taking this back to the CUDs and others to receive comments relative to the bond. Any CUD that was receiving bond funds, it squarely registered at our last meeting that the first draft was going to be an issue. So I appreciate this going back. And I just want to clarify, Christine and Tony, all those issues have been ironed out by the new verbiage that's in our packets.
Yeah, I'll let Tony answer that question. Go ahead, Tony.
Yes, sorry, I had to click again. Yes, everything has been resolved. We have fully vetted this with the attorneys for EC Fiber, et cetera, and everyone is okay with the language as written.
Excellent. Okay, Sarah, I see your hand is up. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I wanted to thank Tony and Christine for going back and really coming up with a compromise with folks. But also, Tony afterwards actually spent some time with me to make sure I was okay with the policy. I was kind of like, let's include a board member, just so you know that's happening.
Oh, great. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions of board members? Dan?
Just under 2.1 Roman numeral 5, it's the bottom of page 3. There's a comment to objective criteria agreed to by the BCB and the grantee. That's to be determined? Or is that criteria that's already been set up?
That's to be determined, and we could just go into executive session and discuss that here, or to make things smoother, we may want to do that in the CUD business plan review, because either way, it's appropriate for either executive session.
Okay, no, I get it. It's not yet done, and
yep.
We can talk about it after. Thank you.
Dan, what item again were you highlighting in Roman numeral 2?
Policy implementation.
Yep.
At the bottom of that first section is financial distress or impending insolvency. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
went fast. And it just references the objective criteria for which
Okay.
that's what I was
So,
looking at.
okay. All right, and that is the objective criteria is to be developed in the future.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Comments? Again, I want to thank you all in terms of dealing with the bondholder issues and getting the language in here that satisfies that. Really want to I appreciate all the work that went into that. All right, seeing and hearing no other questions, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the recoupment and transfer of ownership policy that was provided in our packet. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Laura. Discussion. Okay, hearing and seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes carry 5-0. Okay, let's now move on to CUD business plan review.
Okay,
Christine,
this
do you
will be done. Yeah, this will be done in executive session. It's our standard monthly agenda item where we look over some of the business plan details of the CUDs.
Okay, very good. I'm going to make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 317C9, which protects confidential business records. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of moving into executive session, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes carry 5-0. We'll move over to executive session.
Okay, so Laura is blacked out. Laura, I assume you're calling in. I will open the room so the rest of the board will move over.
Yep, I'm coming now.
Okay, great. I'll watch for you.
All right, looks like we've got everybody. Christine, are you back?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right, so we have exited executive session. There's no action taken in executive session. The only follow-up that I'll report is that for the parking lot, we're adding that we're going to plan for a working session to discuss the legal implications of Act 71 sunset provision. So that'll be an upcoming meeting in the near future. Okay, so that is, get over here to the board packet. That is the conclusion of item 11. Let's now move on to item 12, which is the BEAD update.
Yeah, I will turn this over to Alexi.
Hello. Not a whole lot to update today, just a quick check-in. We are in the process of finalizing the grant agreement template after some comments that we solicited comments from people on it, and so we're addressing some of those questions. And then are aiming to have everything into the sort of PSD pipeline by the end of the month, so that we're on track to meet our September 4th deadline.
Excellent.
So that's sort of the main activity at the moment.
Great. Thank you very much, Alexi. Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you very much, and hopefully BEAD continues on smoothly. All right, that brings us to item 11 on the agenda, which is our closing public comment. Christine, do you want to run us through?
Yes, this point in the agenda, if anybody would like to make a comment, please raise your hand, or if you're on the phone, speak up. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. And we're moving on to comment, so looking for raised hands. Okay, not seeing any. I think we can move on.
Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to the board has a standing executive session where we deal with some personnel matters relative to a board purview. So that is item 15 on our agenda, and I'll report out once we've exited our executive session. So this is the close of the formal part of the meeting. There's a separate link for the board to use for the executive session, so we'll enter that via the separate link. I'll make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313A33, authorizing a public body to hold an executive session to consider personnel matters.
I will second that, Patty, but also, did we confirm the next board meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry, we did not. All right, so we have the second on the table. We're just going to push that over to the side. Thank you very much, Sarah, for catching that. Our next meeting is July 20th, 26. Are board members able to attend?
20th.
July 20th, 2026.
Yes.
Yep, I'm good. Laura, you're good?
Yes.
Double checking.
Okay. We have at least 4 of us.
Yes.
All right, so July 20th, 2026 is our next regularly scheduled meeting. All right, let's now come back and take a vote on the executive session. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The ayes carry 5-0. Okay, we'll all access the separate link, and we'll see you over in the executive session.
We will not resume the meeting, so thank you all for joining us.